AI is absolutely obliterating the coaching industry and the consulting industry. As a matter of fact, even the biggest consulting firms on the planet, like Deloitte and all of those other blue chip firms, are reporting that their numbers are way down. Except I hear about this person over here still crushing it. I hear about this person over here still crushing it. I hear about this person over here still crushing it. So what's different between their business and mine? Why are they still doing well? And everything that used to work for me isn't working anymore. Here's why.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Chris Harder Show, where today I am grateful for how good the coaching and consulting industry has been to us over the years. You know, Lori and I have probably, since 2010, 2011, we have 15 years in this industry of coaching people, whether it was when Lori was a health coach, when she was a fitness star, me being a business coach, etc. So I'm really grateful for what the last 15 years has given us. But also, I'm very concerned for where it's going. And that is what today's episode is about. Here's the cold, hard truth that some of you are feeling, but not facing. And it is this: the coaching business, the consulting business is sinking faster than the Titanic. Now, some of you, you know this and you're pivoting. Some of you, you feel this, but you're looking the other way. And a lot of you, you're still saying, no. Maybe I just got to change my messaging. No. Maybe I just got to change my funnel. No. Maybe it's just a blip. Guys, AI is absolutely obliterating the coaching industry and the consulting industry. As a matter of fact, even the biggest consulting firms on the planet, like Deloitte and all of those other blue chip firms, are reporting that their numbers are way down because of AI. And let me explain exactly what's happening so that you can understand the why behind it. So let's say that you are a relationship coach. Let's use that for an example. In the past, you'd sign somebody up who's dating and they want to meet their guy or they want to meet their girl and they want some help with it. You know, how should I show up? What should I say? How should I be? And maybe you meet with them weekly or bi-weekly or whatever your program was. The point is they relied on you to help them date better, to help them get into that right relationship. But now, what do? They come home and they jump on their phone or they jump on their laptop at the end of a date and they say, okay, here's what he said to me. Here's what happened. What should I do next? Or they ask Claude and Chat, okay, he just sent me this text. How do you interpret it and what should I text back? Or they jump on Claude or Chat and they say, I keep attracting the same emotionally unavailable people. What's going on? Help me through this. Help me figure out why. And then they go through a series of back and forth with Claude or Chat, and they come to what feels like a very likely conclusion. And now here's the rub that a lot of you don't want to face. You see, it's not that people all of a sudden one day that AI showed up said, I am no longer hiring a coach. I am no longer hiring a consultant. It's not like they had this conscious moment where they swore it off. No, what's happened is when they come home from said date, or when they come home and need business help, or when they come home and need, investing help, and they jump on Claude or they jump on Chat, the information that they're getting is good enough for them. It may not be, and this is the truth that you're not going to like, it may not be as good as what you would give them as a coach or consultant, but guess what? It doesn't matter. They're getting satiated. They're getting satiated enough for them to say, yeah, I'm not going to pay a couple $1,000s a month for that coach. This answer right here feels pretty good. This makes sense to me. And so it's not like they made a conscious decision saying, hey, I'm swearing off coaches, I'm swearing off consultants, but for free or for $20 a month, they're getting really good answers. They're getting what satisfies them enough. So the hunger to hire you is gone. Now, don't worry. I'm going to go somewhere positive. I'm going to tell you how to save the day. But first, you have to come to grips with what's really going on out there. And it gets worse. The coaching and consulting industry has always kind of been a bit, let me call it Ponzi schemey. And I don't mean intentionally like a real Ponzi scheme, but it very much operates one, because here's why. Let's go back to the example of this relationship coach and the business coach. The relationship coach, whose business is now down 40% or 50% because their clients are using Claude or Chat, they normally in the past would have gone to that business event. Except now, their money's low. They're feeling it. They're panicking. And they can't afford to go. So now the person who runs the business event, maybe it's a 2-day workshop, maybe it's a great big 1-day event, their ticket sales are plummeting. Because the coaches who would normally go, the consultants who would normally go, they don't have the money for not just the ticket, but the plane ticket and the hotel and all that stuff. They're at home doing the same thing that cannibalized their business, and that is trying to figure it out with Claude and Chat. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, you guys. And then what happens is the person who runs that business event, maybe it's a marketing event, maybe it's a whatever business event, because they could only sell half the seats that they normally did. Now they weren't profitable on their event and they can't afford to go and hire that marketing expert that they would have gone to get to the next level in the past. So instead, what do? They go to Claude or Chat and say, my event didn't sell. Would you look at my sales copy? Would you look at my sales page? Would you tell me how I could do better? Would you help me figure out how to fill seats quick? Self-fulfilling prophecy. And then that coach or that marketing firm that would have been hired by the business coach who runs the event, they are now suffering and they don't join the mastermind that they normally would have joined. And so now the mastermind isn't filling. It's only filling half of what it used to do. And so now the person who runs the mastermind, their money is tight and they're freaking out. And they turn to Claude and Chat and say, hey, my mastermind's not filling. What should I do? And sure enough, so that person now turns to Claude or Chat and says, my mastermind's not filling, help me solve it, instead of hiring the one-on-one business coach or consultant that they would have hired in the past. You guys see what's happening? The liquidity has been sucked out of the bottom. And so that coach doesn't buy the course, and the person selling the courses doesn't go to the mastermind. The person that runs the mastermind doesn't get the one-on-one coach. It literally implodes from the bottom, and that's what's going on. When you suck liquidity out of a Ponzi scheme, it collapses. Well, the same thing happens with this type of structure. When you suck liquidity out of the bottom, everything collapses. It's also the same thing that happens in the economy. When you suck liquidity, aka significant job loss, et cetera, during a recession, out of the lower and middle class, then all of the other higher end type of businesses start to suffer. So this is nothing new, but it needs to be faced and it needs to be dealt with. So what can you do? If you're like, okay, Chris, I get it. Now I know why my numbers are down. Now I know why my friends' numbers are down. Now I know why coaches are panicking out there and their businesses aren't going very well. Except I hear about this person over here still crushing it. And I hear about this person over here still crushing it. And I hear about this person over here still crushing it. So what's different between their business and mine? Why are they still doing well? And everything that used to work for me isn't working anymore. Here's why. Coaching didn't go away entirely. Consulting didn't go away entirely. The people who are still making money are the ones who are solving a specific niche problem. The ones that are able to identify a very specific pain point for people and who can make the promise that if you work with me, if you buy this course, if you join this program, this very, 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 very specific problem will be fixed. I guarantee. A good example is Jessie Jean. Everyone's talking about her because she just did a $1.2 million launch on how to yap on social media. This is the perfect example, guys, of where the money's going. She didn't do a social media course like what people used to do, right? We can't speak in generalities anymore. She didn't even do an Instagram course, which someone used to say, hey, you can't just be a social media teacher, you got to be specific like LinkedIn or Instagram. Even that is not good enough anymore. I mean a specific problem. She taught you how to buy that little furry mic, hold it up to your mouth like you're giving a BJ, and talk into that thing in a way that people will listen. And made $1.2 million in one day doing it. Because she was able to identify a specific micro pain point and create a specific solution. So what does that mean for you? Well, here's some examples. If you've been a social media coach in the past, you now need to do something like coaching people how to get their first 10,000 emails from social media onto their email list using ManyChat. Or if you were a personal brand coach in the past, you now need to turn into how to build an audience for introverts, or how to get your first 5,000 followers for introverts. If you're a health coach in the past, you now need to turn into the health coach that specifically helps you lose the last 15. You are the last 15 pounds coach. If you were a relationship coach in the past, you now need to turn into a coach who specifically gives the playbook for the first 90 days after a breakup. You're the first 90 days breakup coach. Or a business coach. If you're a business coach, you now need to turn into the coach who specifically coaches business partners how to communicate and succeed together in their first year. Not even just succeed together. How to succeed or navigate a business partnership in its first year. That specific of a problem. So when someone's forming a business, they say, oh, man, I know that it's really tough when you got a business partner. I know there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Oh, this person over here teaches you exactly what to do in the first year to get off on the right foot. Well, I'm just starting this thing. That's who I need. An ops consultant or HR consultant in the past now needs to turn into someone who simply teaches you how to hire your first 5 VAs successfully. Not a hiring coach, not even a VA coach. How to hire your first 5 VAs successfully. That's what I mean by a micro niche that you need to be able to solve clearly. And all of you can do it. You just have to get out of your old way of thinking. You just have to get out of the old way of doing things. I just gave you some really good examples to kind of get your brain going. It's kind of a memory jogger. But the one thing that won't work is keeping your head in the sand or saying this is temporary or saying, oh gosh, this person over there, they're still a social media coach and they just had a good launch. So I think if I just try harder and change my sales copy or change my funnel. Nope. If you take a look, the people doing well, they're solving a specific micro problem. And that is the only way that you're going to survive. And quite honestly, that's how you're going to thrive. And by the way, this is not even new. This has always been the case. The people that solved the most micro cases in the past were the ones that always sold the most courses and the most coaching, the most whatever. But before, you could still do well if you were a generalist. You could still do well if you had kind of a general business mastermind. You could still do well if you had kind of this general, relationship type of program over here or this general marketing program over here. Not anymore. Now it's my very first funnel coaching. Now it's how to get your first 5,000 people on your email list using ManyChat coaching. You guys kind of get the drift? So you can still make a lot of money. That's the good news. You can still do really, really well. That's the great news. You don't have to freak out. That's the great news. But you do have to pivot yesterday. I mean, like yesterday. So if you want help with this, strategy is one of my absolute best things on the entire planet. I love it. It is my jam. I do these one-off strategy sessions with you. I'm more than happy to do a deep dive. All you have to do is go to chrisharder.me/coaching, and I will help you dial this in. And I will also get you in the right mindset to dial this in. Seriously, go to chrisharder.me, that's .me/coaching. Fill out the app, we'll have a chat. chrisharder.me/coaching. I would love to sit down, have a quick strategy with you, or we can even work together one-on-one over a long period of time to do your pivot. But here's your choices. Pivot or go down with the Titanic. A lot of people are going to go down with the Titanic. I don't want you to be one of them. I sure as hell won't be. Thanks for listening, guys. Love and appreciate you as always.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.